This is live TV, folks.
I hope you're not recording right now.
Oh yes, we are. We are live. The world needs to see your passion of laughter.
Please forgive me. I did not expect to see you with that damn helmet on your head. Give me a warning next time when you do something like that.
No, this is how we get ratings. This is how we get views. Go with the prop, dadgummit.
Well, since we're throwing out there props and everything like that, let's just say good evening and welcome to another edition of the Dub and Mizzle Show. We have taken a long vacation to get our stuff together, mainly because I've been working and been too damn tired to get on here and do it. But we are here. We're still alive. We've been taking time to work on our craft, and the show is brought to you by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
His actual that he actually distributes.
You damn Skippy. So we're getting that out there. But brother, how you been, man? How's it going?
Well, waiting to go back to work, but in the meantime, watching our horrible excuse of a baseball team just give up games, and just coming to the realization that the Oakland A's can hit.
Well, since we're just going to give everybody a little pre-warm-up since we've been away for a while, we're going to talk about a little bit of baseball. We're going to talk about a little bit of bubble basketball. And we're also going to talk about a weird story that I'm throwing out there, is that a WWE employee almost got kidnapped. We'll dive into that a little bit later. But since my brother brought up the Giants, fire everybody. And just rebuild the shit from the bottom on up. I mean,
well, that's what they're trying to do.
Well, I mean, 15-3, a 9-run inning. Hold on to that thought. Why? 15-3.
Now, I do have one question before we dodge into this. What is going on with it being over 100 degrees and it's rain and lightning flashes and a whole bunch of sky shows going on in my former home state?
Well, I'm just going to say this. Northern California has just become the South for whatever's going on right now. This is completely southern weather. I'm talking about Mississippi, Florida, Louisiana, all that. I mean, just before we got on, there was lightning flashes going on around here. But this is ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, this is typically what happens when an earthquake happens when we have weather like this. I'm praying that we don't have an earthquake because Lord knows we don't need one right now, especially with the virus going on. We have an earthquake, shit gets shut down. Everybody's fudged up, pretty much. So, but right, we're Vegas right now. This is desert heat right that's going on right now. I don't know what's going on. This is just ridiculous.
But now, indulging back into our beloved baseball team that just needs a whole lot of help and what have you. Now, keep in mind, folks, today's game, when the fifth inning started, it was a 2-2 tie.
Yes. It was.
But one thing that has not helped the Giants this year thus far has definitely been the base on balls, the walks, and a staple of the Bocchiers has always been, for the most part, has always been good, great, fundamental defense. That has decided to take a vacation in 2020 because the defense is horrible.
Since you want to talk about the defense taking the vacation here in 2020, let's talk about this shift that you've been hounding and just pounding on Facebook and just saying you don't like. Well, I didn't have nothing to say about it. I had nothing to say about it until what I saw today. The batter that was up there today, 7 of 8 of his hits have been home runs. Guess what he did today with the shift? He bunted.
He bunted.
And he bunted to the opposite side of the shift.
Yes. Down the third base line, yes. Matt Olson, yes.
He could have walked to first base. How bad that shift is. So, as you were sitting here preaching with Bochy, can you count on one hand how many times you saw Bruce Bochy do a shift?
Hardly ever. Now, now let me just dig in deeper. Now, back when we were younger,
Oh, you say we're old now?
I didn't say that. I said when we were younger.
Senior. You just remember that. You're the senior, not me.
Actually, Tony's the senior because he's the oldest one.
Hey, he's not on the video right now. It's me and you. You're the senior.
Look here. Look here, okay? Look here. Anyhow. Okay. During our years at Fairfield High School, is that a better analogy?
Yes.
The school you love to hate so much.
It's all right.
Back during those years, you really only saw the shift for one particular person, and that person's name was Barry Lamar Bonds.
Yeah, because he didn't know how to hit the opposite way of the shift. He was just swinging the bat to try to take the damn ball wherever. Now, when he did hit to the opposite field, by golly, it was like the man knows how to. I mean, to have the best eyes in baseball, and you know this is true. Anybody else can say somebody else has this. No. Barry Bonds, still to this day, I guarantee you, if he goes to play a DH, he will smack out 25 home runs just by his eyes alone.
I can guarantee you he can take BP right now. Guarantee you he'll knock out 7 out of 10.
And about 4 of them is going to the water.
Yeah.
And you know what? And this is, even though he's been off the roids, please, if he's been on the roids, somebody go give me proof. But us fans, we know the boy head was about as big as this right now, and now his head is about as big as mine. So we understand. But right now, he can still hit 25 home runs and not break a freaking sweat.
Well, I'll say it like this. Even in his last season back in 2007, which seems, wow, oh so long ago. Can't believe it's been 13 years. But even then, at the age of 43 going on 44, bad knees and all, the man still hit 276. The man still hit 28 home runs, still led the league in walks, and still was getting this at 43 years old.
Didn't he still get some stolen bases in there as well?
I'm pretty sure he did. But my point is,
Michael Jackson kicking his leg in the last concert he made. You know,
but my point is, even then at that age, clearly past his prime, they were still scared to pitch to the man because the man would make hard contact. Like, you know, Mike Kruger gave the famous quote: "He might get 5 pitches a week. And if you pitched it, he wouldn't miss it." That's how locked in he was.
Well,
but again,
on top of your scariness, I'm gonna dial into that because there was a coach, I believe he was the Mets, where the bases was loaded, and Barry Bonds came up and the first thing. Thank you.
It was Buck Showalter.
And when Barry Bonds came up to the plate, all he did was, with the bases loaded, he was willing to give up a run, not to let that man hit a grand slam to win that game. Now, it paid off and worked, but I'm just saying, if you're willing to give up a run not to pitch to this man, that speaks volumes.
And this is when they were still playing a Candlestick.
Hello.
Not Pacific Bell /SBC /AT&T /Oracle. This was still a Candlestick.
Just call it what we used to call it, the telephone booth. That's all it
Well,
is. It's a
it is
telephone.
the big telephone booth for sure, for sure.
You,
But yes, Buck Showalter of the Diamondbacks. Now keep in mind, Greg Olson, who was an established MLB closer with the Orioles back in the early to mid '90s, who at that time was the Diamondbacks closer. Score was 7-5. Diamondbacks were leading. As mentioned, the bases were loaded, and also was like he had that look of,
nah.
you serious? And Buck Showalter in the third base dog is like, him? Yes. Yes.
Sure.
Now keep in mind, as mentioned, the Diamondbacks did go on to win the game.
Yes.
But the thing is, Brett Maine, who was the next batter, hit a bullet that the right fielder almost dropped because he took a wrong angle and luckily caught the ball. But the fact is that to piggyback off your point is Buck Showalter was like, I'm not having him beat me. No, no. And
Anybody but Barry Bonds.
anybody but Barry Lamar Bonds. Like Rich Uria, okay, I can live with that. Or JT Snow, I can live with that. Heck, Jeff Kent, I can live with that. Barry Bonds, no, can't do it.
Aurelia, see, in that time, Rich Aurelia was lightweight balling. So it would have been a excuse me, it would have been a toss up with him. But even the man JT Snow that you mentioned, hey, but to get on,
One of the best gloves I've ever seen.
and he also showed you he can grab a kid too.
I'm pretty sure Mrs. Baker is still sending Christmas cards to JT Snow.
Can you imagine her seeing that right now? As any mother in the world seeing that will be like, you know what? He is no longer in the dugout.
Well, I mean, at that particular time, there was no age limit with being a bad boy, and Darren was doing his job. He says, "Oh, okay, go get bat," not knowing that there was live action. But that just shows you again how good of hands JT Snow had, being one of the best defensive first basemen certainly that I've ever seen. But now to go back to the original point. Now, of course, for like the last 3 years, I have been calling out a certain Giants left-handed hitter because he gets shifted on tremendously, and I am just like, slap it down the third base line, get yourself an easy double, bunt the doggone ball down the third base line. Of course,
he's no longer the baby giraffe no more. He's that name has just went. I just now we are talking about Brandon Belt. I know, and he's been given many chances. I believe that he should have been traded long time ago, or even just released. But it's just something about him or the organization that just likes to keep these players just thinking that they're going to break out of their shell. No. The only person that I want them to focus on is BP, and I ain't talking about batting practice.
Oh, you're talking about one Gerald Dempsey III.
Exactly. Now, you know what? You can kick Brandon Belt ass to the fucking curve. We can transition Mr. BP, and yet again, I'm not talking about batting practice, to first base. I mean, move that man. Look here. I love that Buster is the man behind the plate. He knows how to handle these pitchers. He knows how to deal with all kind of freaking egos, this, that, and the third. But we have an up-and-comer guy that's down in the farm system just chilling. That's a damn good catcher, too.
Actually, they got two guys, because Patrick Bailey, who they drafted this year,
yes,
which is why Joey Bart's taking also reps at first base also, because I think Patrick Bailey might be the better defensive catcher too.
This is where, you know what, Kapler's trying to think too much of himself. See, no. You leave Bart at catcher with the other dude you mentioned, and you focus on putting Buster Posey at first base. You will get more out of Buster. The reason why we don't have, the MVP Buster is because, as a catcher, it wears and tears on your knees. And by the way, our catcher should have been kicked out of the freaking league for what he did to Buster Posey. That's being a homer. I know it. But we do remember that Buster is on technically one solid knee.
Well, actually, it was his ankle, but I get what you're saying.
Okay, I should say leg. Excuse me. I'm just going to say that he's on one solid leg. Let that man play first base. He's more, I would say, you'll get more out of him. And he should only catch on certain pitchers that, just rotate him in and out of catcher at first base. Of course, we know Buster's going to say, I want to play catcher. You drafted me to play catcher. I'm going to do it. That's what I want to do. But if you need me at first base, what's good for the team is what's good for the team.
Well, I'm of this opinion that I'm thinking 2022 is when the Giants should start contending again. Just because, again, now there's nothing you can absolutely say or do to me that will convince me that Farhan Zaidi hiring Gabe Kapler is just a good hire. You will never ever get me to sell that. I don't care. Okay. With that said, okay, I understand that Farhan and Kapler helped develop and put that loaded team down south called the Dodgers in good shape. There's no denying that. They put that team together with all those tremendous prospects they have in the farm system, and you see why they've won the division practically the last, seems like, century.
Look here. Let me cut you off right there for a second. We're sitting here talking about the Dodgers, and we are Giants fans, and of course we're not supposed to speak anything about that dreaded team down south. But they tried to buy their championships. Okay, their budget was in 120 plus million plus. I mean, probably more than that. I'm probably just being
more than that.
Yeah, of course. So we know as sports fans, my brother, when you try to buy a championship, you get there, but do you win it?
Oh, 9 times out of 10, no. But
I mean, besides the Heat, who bought their championships by building the dream team, okay, but that don't work in baseball like that. You have to. I'm not saying the Giants didn't have the biggest payroll when they won. Well, I'm sorry, it does work. The New York Yankees. Rest my case. I'm sorry. The Yankees spend dollar bills, and so.
Well, back then, yes, but if you paid attention recently, they're not spending as much. Like most of their starting 9 for the Yankees, with the exception of Stan and others, most of that 1-9 is homegrown, like Urshela, Sanchez, Luke Voigt.
It's Brad not Gardner team anymore. It's not Stein.
Gleyber Torres. It's not George. It's still in the family, but it's not George because George didn't care.
It's a Steinbrenner still in there, but
yeah,
exactly. Thank you for that, because I couldn't think of the name, but I knew the last name. But yes, it's not George running it no more.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing. Now, one thing I will give Farhan credit for, what he's done with that farm system in a year and a half, from being the bottom third of the league to now in the middle of the league.
Yeah.
Because you look at a few years, you can have Elliot Ramos, Joey Bart, Marco Luciano, the heir apparent to Crawford at shortstop. You also have Will Wilson. You also have Seth Corey, Sean Jelly, Corey Burks on pitchers. So, they are in good shape for the foreseeable future. It's just getting through this year and getting through 2021. And hopefully by the time they get here in 2022, that's when the winning will start.
The Giants farm system has never been a problem. It goes from Bum, Crawford, Buster, even Belt. The Giants for Lynchicum, Kane. I can go on with the names, of course, as we know, and not another of our fans or whoever's watching won't know, but the farm system has been great. And I've seen them live going to Sacramento watching the River Cats play. They got talent. That's not the problem. It's just that it seems like the minor league coaches know how to get these guys going. And when Bochy was there, it was like perfect because Bochy had I'm pretty sure that he talks to the minor league coaches to communicate whatsoever. But now it's like we still have the minor league programming step, but there's no Bruce Bochy to take these guys in. And I don't even know who the fuck this guy is. This Kapler guy. I just know that he had a scandal and he sucked in Philadelphia, and he's horrible at managing his pitchers. And that's all I know about the guy.
Well, he is a former Major League Baseball player. He did play in the major leagues. Actually has a World Series ring. I think he was on the 2004 Red Sox as a bench player. He's always had a good build. But the thing is, from what people that know him that have said, that he's a good communicator. Again, take it for what value you want to take it for. Again, that's what the people around the game are saying. And that's one of the reasons why, again, Farhan hired him. Now there will be some fans that will not be able to get past the fact that under their watch in the Dodgers, when this, story that came out that a fan was sexually assaulted by players in the minor league system of the Dodgers, and they sort of kind of swept it on the rug. There are some fans that can't get past that. I get it. I understand it.
Well, our fan base did not like the signing, and they still don't like the signing.
No.
And of course, what community is big in San Francisco. And pretty much when the Giants hired him, there was backlash. There was many fans that, of course, you and me saw that were saying that they're not Giants fans no more, blah, 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 blah. If you can go off and just say that instantly off that, then you're really not a fan. Of course, I didn't even like Bruce Bochy being signed by the Giants because, of course, he's a Padre. And, but, hey, win and change everything. Once I saw how good of a coach he was and how he managed that, long story short, Bruce Bochy was the greatest. This guy, he doesn't fit the Sanford. It's not going to fit, bro. He does not fit.
I tried.
You cannot throw me off right now.
Laughter is good for the soul.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is just our get back into shape show. We're going to have mishaps and follies and funnies and right now just to get back in shape. But Kapler, I don't have a good read with him right now. It seems like when the pitcher is doing good, he takes him out. But when the pitcher is struggling, he leaves him out there. Thank goodness this is only 60 games. And to me, anybody that wins this championship or whatever, it has an asterisk on it. I don't care. Even like I said, if the Giants win it, it's going to be an asterisk. You're not playing your full season. Basketball, whatever. Go Sixers. But and yes, I will be wearing Sixer attire here pretty soon. Well, tomorrow's show will be a Sixer jersey on. But I know we're rambling and jumping subjects here and there. But I just don't know what's going on with this organization and what a putt shot. I'm sorry, I'm watching SportsCenter and doing the show at the same time, and they're on golf right now, and this dude just spun the ball right into the hole. Brilliant shot. But I don't know where they're going with this organization. It's like I believe this is just since they're playing 60 games, we're just going to look at this as a trial and error. Just see what's going on, especially with them testing the DH in both leagues, which I don't like at all. Damn it! If you are a pitcher, you get your ass up there, you're part of the team, and you swing that bat.
Or at worst, learn how to bunt.
I mean, you practice that every day, right? I know it's little league and it's difference between little league and major leagues, but I guarantee you, from little league up into college, you got drafted, you were practicing bunting.
Oh, all day.
Did Mr. Millward
Speaking of bunting,
teach you guys how to bunt?
I mean, we practiced it, but I mean, I already playing for as long as I had. Bunting came naturally, but that's because I was watching one of the great masters of all time bunting, and that was Brett Butler. that's how I learned how to bunt, by watching him bunt.
See, now you dropping too much knowledge on the viewers right now. Nobody don't know about Brett Butler, man. That man's a classic. And you drop knowledge and tell them who he played for.
He did play for the Giants, although he was also a Cleveland Indian, a Dodger, among other teams. But again,
where was his glory days?
Oh, with the Giants.
Well, thank you. Exactly. Yes, and I have seen him play live at Candlestick.
To where I learned a very valuable lesson the 2 times I went to Candlestick. And number 1 is never, ever, 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 ever wear shorts to Candlestick Park.
Oh, do you know while our dad never took us to a freaking night game in San Francisco at Candlestick? Because he said that wind is just ridiculous. Oh, it gets real cold in a night game.
No, but see, the thing was, I was freezing in the middle of the summer in July wearing shorts, and I learned
that time you probably went. This is where we wasn't probably having global warming to where every season was on point, and San Francisco didn't get hot. I mean, it did, but when the sun went down, you know that.
Oh yeah, the winds across San Francisco Bay. But like we've always said, if it's 80 plus in the city, it's hot everywhere else.
Oh, brother, I just saw a fellow glazer of mine on Instagram. He said the city got to 95 degrees. So do you know what that really means? That it was over 100 degrees technically out there, because a lot of houses that were built, they ain't got no AC.
No, they have no AC.
It doesn't get hot out there. There's no need. No. That breeze was perfect. No. Open the window up.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Feel the breeze. Feel the breeze off the bay.
95 degrees. This, like I said, it's just the globe. We're just rotating. As you know, we're spinning as we're talking right now. We're going so fast you don't feel it, but it's just everything is changing. That's why the glaciers and everything is melting. Global warming, whatever they want to call it, whatever. I just know it's whatever God does for me right now. It's whatever. It's His will, and I'm leaving it at that. We're not going to go church. We're going to get back into our sports. But
now back to this bunting thing. I want to go back, and I want to go back to specifically to Friday's game.
Okay.
It's in the 10th inning, and I still, for the life of me, will not understand why Gabe Kapler trying to bunt Slater to third base. Now, keep in mind, in the previous inning, the A's scored a run without even getting a hit. They got the run to third with a productive out, and then scored on a sac fly. Go to the bottom of the 10th. Straight. I'm like, base. And Slater is a pretty fast runner. leads the team in steals. I'm like, why are you not trying to bump the ball up the first baseline and try and get him to third, and then take your chances? Okay, I if the runner's 90 feet away and you're trying, and you at least got him to third with less than 2 outs. Slater just stayed at second base for that rest of the half inning. I rest my case.
There's no baseball being played. There's no strategy. I think we may be being a little bit too hard on what's going on with this year, but us being the fans that we are, if this is what you're putting out right now, what are you going to change? Are you going to change? Because you left Derek Rodriguez out there too long today.
Well, here's the thing, and I commend Derek Rodriguez because, unfortunately, he taken on the chin because the Giants bullpen was lacking arms, and he had to be the one to take it on the chin. And I commend him. I know it won't look good on his nuts wise, but him, you just gotta tip your cap to because I mean he took one for the team today, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing that his teammates want to do than to pick him up because again, sometimes in the game of baseball it just happens. I was hoping that Pablo got to pitch today, but Pablo came in a pinch hit for somebody, so
you wanted to see the curve.
I want to see how Pablo pitched. Instead, we got Tyler Heineman, who started the game, a catcher, ends up pitching a scoreless ninth inning. Go figure. And then well, I mean, like I texted you before we did the show, I said, go figure on a day to where the A's just were playing home run derby inside the big phone booth. And Stephen Piscotty almost took it to the Coke bottle. My goodness, that was a bomb. Yeah, go figure that the Brandons will be a combined 5 for 7, and each of them would have a home run. It's like, and this is what gets me frustrated about Brandon Belt. It's like, dude, where is this when I need you with runners on base? But when it's a ball, hey, I went 3 for 4 today. Yeah.
But this is where when we had the conversation, and you text me, and I was like, well, this is just a typical us Giants fans. We know this. It's when the pitching is looking shitty, the bats are open. The bats are awake and everything. But the moment that the pitching gets on point, the bats don't follow the pitching. Like tomorrow, let's just say, or whenever the Giants play, the bats may awake. Okay, they play tomorrow. They'll most likely put up maybe 7, 8 runs, whatever. Pitching to be, nah. But then to get it's vice versa with them. It's just. And speaking of the Giants, they're talking about Tyler Heineman and I guess we had a nice little catch out in outfield today. It was number 5. It's number 5 on the top 10.
Oh wow!
But again, you know what? We're sitting here giving our team a bad rep right now because they played the A's. But let's just think, the A's have been giving everybody the business. They are the Phoenix Suns of whatever we want to call this.
They're the best record of baseball.
They've been playing good baseball, let's dive a little farther. Let's get off the Giants right now. We're gonna this show right now is freestyle. Everybody, we will get back on point on the next show. I promise you. This is freestyle. We're just giving you a little freestyle show. But the A's have always been playing good baseball. It's when they get into the playoffs is where they forget how to play baseball.
Agreed.
And
what has not helped them the last 2 years? And the fact that, but what's not not helped them for the last 2 years is they've been involved in the wild card playing game, the one game to get in to
But
the tournament.
the West,
That has not.
and the AL is real tough. You dealing with the Angels, Rangers, is the Mariners,
Correct. Yes.
and the Astros. Am I correct? Are the Astros?
You are correct.
So, and remember, we've been talking about this for the past few years, brother. Is that the A's have been 90 plus wins the past few years, but the Astros have won 100, and then they have steeper competition in the division. But this is nothing shocking to what we're seeing right now. It's just that when they get playing those other teams, it just sucks for them because they're in the division they're in. Now I guarantee you, if they was in the NL West. No, I wouldn't say the NL West. That's a little tough. Let me. I'm trying to picture them if they were in the NL, where they would have a better fighting chance. But there's really nothing else to go along. But they're just in a bad predicament. The A's have been, and I'm all Bay Area except for the Kings and Niners. It's a fact. I am a Giants fan, number one. But the Giants are not playing how they're supposed to be playing, how they're playing like boo-boo right now. I root for the A's. That's always been me. But they're playing real fucking good baseball right now. I mean, like all around. They won 12 in a row without a loss? Was it 12? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was.
No, it got to 9. Then they lost the series to the Angels, and they came back and obviously annihilated the A's and swept them. But they were on a 9-game winning streak, and it seemed like every time they walked off, it was a walk-off grand slam.
Not nothing. Just like I just swung the bat and I tapped it. Bombs. But the A's have been having good bats. See, that's what I want the Giants to have. Bats like the A's. I mean, everybody from their 1 to 9 can swing that fucking bat. It's astounding. It's astounding, but like I said, it's nothing.
Which is why I'm very hopeful on Elliot Ramos and Joey Bart, because just from the videotapes that I've seen them, they both have some ridiculous raw power. Like half the time when Joey Bart connects, it's like he's half swinging. I see Joey Bart a full through swing and just how far it can go. And I mean, during spring training 1.0, the home run that Ramos hitting into the Rockies, I'm like, that's a big boy home run. So I'm definitely hopeful on those two.
The air in Colorado.
No, this is in Arizona, spring training.
Excuse me, Arizona.
Yes. But, I mean, the A's have a tendency to make ballparks look small. I mean, Matt Olson has one of the ugliest swings in baseball, but by God, when he connects, dear Lord. I mean, he hit one to the bullpen. And I'm talking about the Giants' bullpen, to where many years ago, before they put the bullpens behind the center field wall, that was just a long fly ball out. Now, it's in the bullpen.
Right.
But I said it before the bubble happened. I said that I had picked the A's to win the West this year before the whole pandemic, because I just thought this was the year that they were going to win the division, just because I think the pressure and the heckling that the Astros would have gotten from fans, if there was fans in the seats, I think it would have gotten to them. It's still sort of kind of getting to them now because the Astros are not playing their best baseball, and the A's have taken advantage of the fact that Justin Verlander is not there, which is a big cog for the Astros pitching staff, and the Astros are just hurt by lack of arms, and thus the A's have taken advantage of that, and that's why they're in first place. So yeah. I think they will definitely. I still think they would win. They're going to win the West. This might be the A's best chance to win the asterisk World Series, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
because, I mean, even though I do think the Twins lineup is a damn cheat code, I mean, their 1 through 9 is ridiculous, but of course, we all know what the Twins' problem is. Every time they see the Yankees in the playoffs, that's their kryptonite.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what year, doesn't matter which person of the team, whatever reason. For whatever reason, when the Twins see the Yankees, the Twins' bats just go cold. I do think it may come down to the A's and the Yankees in the ALCS, which I wouldn't mind that because both their lineups are very capable of hitting the long ball. It just comes down to who has the better pitch, as it always does when it comes to the American League.
And damn it,
because really the American League is just. What's that?
And damn it, we want redemption for what Jeter did.
All he had to do was slide. See, now you don't see. All you had to do was slide, Jeremy Giambi. All you had to do was just throw one Posada over when it was still legal back then. That's all you had to do. But no. You want to try and stand and try to beat it with your foot. And then
I think the A's win the World Series if he slides.
Oh, they would have swept the Yankees out that right. There's none. The only mistake Barry's even made was he hung a curve to Jorge Posada, and Jorge Posada just killed it.
Yeah.
And then, and I mean, and I know some Yankee fans are just going to be like, oh, okay. And this is just my opinion. Derek Jeter is the most overrated shortstop of all time. There was not many things he did well. It just seems like he was always in the moment, made great instinctive plays. And as much as I can't stand the flip, it's one of the most great instinctive plays I've ever seen watching a baseball game because nobody else in their right mind would have thought about flipping the ball to the catcher. Perhaps the only other shortstop that could possibly make that play is a guy called the Wizard of Oz by the name of Osborne Earl Smith. Y'all know him as Ozzy. He's probably the only other shortstop, and maybe Omar Vizquel too. But maybe those three guys, perhaps, would think about making a play like that.
What position did Nomar Garciaparra play?
He was a shortstop, but I don't think he would have been instinctive to make a play like that.
I know we agree on a lot of stuff, but I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. Nomar was a damn good shortstop.
Well, here's the thing. Out of those big three, when they asked who's your favorite out of A-Rod, Nomar, and Jeter, I was a Nomar guy.
Yeah, facts. I loved his batting stance. I loved everything about Nomar. Nomar was he played some damn good baseball, and he played the shortstop position very well. Of course, if anybody knows anything about Nomar Garciaparra, if not, look him up, and then you will see that with Boston, he was damn good.
He was. Although he just didn't get much attention because, Jeter and Era were getting the attention, if you will. But I mean, there have been a lot of great A's teams that should have won the World Series, or at least gotten there.
What year? What the year that they won 20 plus games? Was it 20 straight? They go on that year that they won 20 plus games to get in the playoffs. You should have won the World Series that year. It was 23. 23, correct?
No, they won 20 in a row
It was
and
which one?
lost. They
That
won the division and got upset by the Twins. So let's just say for lack of better reason, they get by the Twins. It would have been the Angels and A's in the 2002 ALCS. So 2002 possibly could have been a Bay Area World Series Part 2.
oh boy.
Possibly could have been. But no, the Twins beat the A's. And the funny thing about it is, as much as Moneyball has been successful under Billy Bean, they only won one postseason series, and that was against the Twins in 2006. And that was one of the lesser A's teams that got to the post. But that was the team that won that postseason series against the Twins, and then ended up getting swept by the Tigers. Go figure.
Mm. Mm. But they've been having great teams.
Yeah, they have. And you know, and the one thing I guess that really I hurt for A's fans is the fact that Billy Bean can find these talents, develop them in their farm system, but unfortunately can't keep them because of the issue that's been going on forever, it seems like, with Oakland. It's the doggone stadium situation. And I'm hoping that they do get the stadium on Howard Terminal built so these fans can try to appreciate and keep that team together. Because I mean, this particular set of players that they have now, they really can go on a little run. They can really go on a little 5-year run if they could possibly keep this team together. Because they're ready to win right now. And Bob Melvin, who still to me does not get enough credit, Bob Melvin is a damn good manager. And I still think he doesn't get rightful credit at all.
Facts. Well, let's talk about when they had Donaldson, Tejada. You know, when you want to say that they were ready to win, this team is ready to win now. Well, when they were ready to win back then, they were. This is the A's. They get the talent. Either they don't pay them, or they trade them. Cespedes was there, and
You know what our dad said the day, which oddly enough was on the 4th of July when they had the best record in baseball, and our dad said, "Why they trade the Cuban?" That's all he said. Why they trade the Cuban?
and
Since
ladies
and
and
since
gentlemen,
he has said you should have not traded the Cuban.
our dad is a Giants fan. We are Giants fan in this family, but we're Bay Area, except like I said, this one is a Niner fan. I don't know where we went wrong with that one, but everything else, we're good. But yes, the day that they traded Cespedes, we all got the text.
Why they trade the Cuban? Like, I can just hear his voice right now as we are doing this show. Why they trade the Cuban? While he has a shot in one hand and a beer in the other, I can hear his voice.
Why they trade the Cuban?
Why they trade the Cuban?
Well, I'll have a shot in this honor. Yes, we're not drinking him tonight. We are drinking Douce. We're having a good night. And yes, I do not have to work tomorrow.
So is there a holiday or something going on, or just we're getting the day off?
Let's just say that these boys need to be whipped into shape because they're in school. And somebody needs to be here to make sure that they are doing what they need to do on those laptops.
Ah, yes.
So I just took
That's
I just took a day to make sure that they were on point and get in because Nicole was here for the past couple of days while they were doing it because she had scheduled days off. You know, while this if this is learning was here or there, she had these days. But her days wasn't going too well because they weren't waking up on time here nor there. So I'm just here to be the
the
enforcer.
backbone. Yeah.
The enforcer. Get your ass up, sit in that, do what you need to do. Wait, you trying to watch YouTube? That nope. Oh, you trying to play video game? Nope. You can do all that when you're done with your schoolwork. So
Yeah, I feel for the kids because this is just. I mean, the situation is just unique, and I know a lot of them just need that classroom interaction in the classroom. I mean, this.
well,
I mean, technically, we're still in the doggone first wave.
it's I'm a little upset. It's more because for your nephew, you know, I moved him away from his friends. He's supposed to be starting a new school, you know, and now that he didn't get a chance to school and sports was his introduction into meeting people and then going to school and be like, oh yeah, we're on the football team. He'd have been his adjustment would have been a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But you know him, he's gonna adapt. He's like me, he's a chameleon. He'll be fine. You know, he's more talkative than I am. Yes, I know that we're doing this talkative show, but you know, you know how I am. But he's more talkative than I am, so he'll be fine.
That's unique because my niece really never has been the talkative person unless you put the time in. But the nephew has never had an issue. Has never had an issue conversating.
Oh well, your niece has taken on my
Oh,
full persona. She is she had, but it's more me in there than, and it's scary. Just sitting here talking with her and seeing the things that she do. Yeah, that's me. But
and
your
I just saw a
nephew,
lightning flash out your window.
you just did, and I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's been going.
I definitely saw it.
It's been going on before we got on, but I don't know if anybody, when we go back and look at the video, if you see when I totally looked out this way to my right, it was thunder, and that's when I was like, whoa, you know, like it's a little thunder going on right now. So you may not can hear it, but it's a little going on right now. I believe it's a passing cloud.
Well, that very well could be
So let's get with the NBA playoffs, the bubble.
the
And
bubble.
before we even, like I said, this episode is a freestyle. We're just gonna ramble and probably cut each other off a few times and throw different subjects out there, but we will get on point. Can we talk about Oakland's finest,
That
Dame?
young man.
Why did Paul George and Beverly piss that man off? If they didn't say nothing, my Sixers will probably be a little bit better off where they are right now. But since Paul George and Beverly decided they wanted to flap their gums to Oakland's finest in the NBA right now, the man has been on a terror. I'm technically thinking that he's been averaging over 35 points since then. We're just going to throw in a 61-point game. We're going to throw in, I think he did a 50-point game. I mean, wow.
Before the game yesterday against Memphis, the last three games, he was averaging 51.3 points per game. Averaging! Okay? That's Chamberlain status. Talking about averaging 50 points.
Bruh, he was out there playing unconscious basketball. And I love that shit. I mean, that's pure. And I wish I should have sent you this tweet that that I saw on Twitter. It was it's a rookie on the team, and I guess he was astounded at what he said. Dame said to him that we're gonna make the motherfucking playoffs. That's Dame's words.
I believe it.
So the rookie was like, what he saw Dame doing, and he was like, man, and he stuck to his word. And Dame responded, shit's just beginning. We in the playoffs now, baby. I'm gonna find that tweet. I'm not quoting it the right way. Right. But basically Dame just predicted what was going on. And I just think Paul George and Beverly just woken up more what he was already. And I mean, he was the bubble MVP, which hands down, if that's how they're giving it out, he is the bubble MVP. But if
certainly what he did.
And if I'm the Lakers, I know they got a dominant force, but that Portland team has no quit. Don't get now. Let's not forget they got 3 dominant scorers on that squad, and Dame's one. CJ McCollum is a baller, and they still got that boy from Syracuse named Carmelo Anthony, aka Melo. That boy is still out there balling too. So don't think that the Portland Trailblazers ain't gonna take this playoff game 1-8 lightly.
Melo coming to the Pacific Northwest saved his basketball life. Because it did not work in Oklahoma City, didn't work in Houston, not because he didn't try, because he tried, adjusted, did everything both those teams asked him to do. He just didn't fit.
It just didn't fit.
Whatever Terry Stotts did, who again, Terry Stotts, he does not get enough credit for being a doggone good head coach in the NBA. I mean, what Terry Stotts has done.
Just watch what happens after this Portland Los Angeles Lakers series. It's not gonna be how everybody thinks. And I'm sorry if you're a Laker fan watching this, and if you think you're just gonna roll over the Portland Trailblazers, mind you, the Portland Trailblazers was given the 3-time champs, the Golden State Warriors, fits too, before they went off on their title run. So Dame's been there. He's been given.
Well, keep in mind, folks, the Portland Trailblazers were in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Preach.
Okay, and to my opinion, the only reason why Portland got swept because there was this certain guy by the name of Mr. Jurkic that was not playing. If he was playing, it would have gone at least 6 games. And speaking of Jurkic, kudos to him for balling out on the day news that your grandmother had transitioned from the ZERP, and to still go out there and play the way he did, having that in mindset, kudos to him.
Well, we can go off and talk about Isaiah Thomas. We can talk about him, Brett Favre. You know, anybody that lost a loved one that went out there and had an amazing game. We all know where that energy and how they felt came from. But I would not just think that that's going to be an exciting series. I'm going to watch that, either watch that closely or be up on that series because, you know, it seems like Dame got more than a chip on his shoulder right now. And not only has Dame been playing excellent basketball, ladies and gentlemen, he dropped a song from the bubble. And it's on iTunes or any of your downloadable things. Look up Dame Dollar. You know, he's out there playing basketball and dropping tracks. Just whatever.
Not to mention that, but in addition to that, he people are not understanding, if you've been watching the bubble, the Lakers have not been playing well in the bubble.
No.
Their offense is stagnant. Their offense has been horrible. They have no bench. So when AD and LeBron are on the bench, which probably they're both not going to be on the bench at the same time, one of them has to be in. So my question is, who's going to pick up the scoring? Okay, Danny Green has struggled. Now, Danny Green decides to be the 2013-2014 NBA Finals Danny Green, you possibly might have a chance. But you're still trying to rely on Rondo. Rondo's not the same guy, okay? You don't know what J.R. Smith you're going to get. You might get that version right there, exactly. Okay. I like Alex Caruso's hustle, but can you score? And Quinn Cook's hit and miss. Dwight Howard's not the Orlando Dwight Howard. So
I mean, they
like
got Kuz. They got Kuzma.
But Kuz has been hit and miss this season.
You know,
some games he'll play with confidence. Some games he doesn't have it.
You know, we can stop talking about the Lakers like right now because you already know how I feel about them. I don't care too much about, and they got LeBron. You know what? I'm pulling for Portland. If anything, I got Portland in 7. That's me. Are they doing a 7-game series? Are we still following the same guidelines as this is like a regular?
I think it's all best of 7. Yes, I think it's the regular format they have been doing.
I put it this way: if the Lakers continue to play the basketball they've been playing right now, Portland in 7. And this is recorded. This is going up on our YouTube show. Portland in 7. And we can move on to another series. I'm done talking about the Lakers. Who else we got?
I'll even raise you. I'll say Portland in 6.
Ooh. Woo! Hey, you heard it first here, ladies.
Again, I mean, yes, I'm a full-fledged certified Laker hater, and I'll forever be that. But I'm not saying this just because I'm a Laker hater. I'm just saying from my basketball as a basketball watcher, I'm just okay. If Laker fans think the Lakers are just going to turn on the switch and everything's going to be okay, I'm not buying it. You can't sell me on it. I'm not buying it because again, Anthony Davis, you're a tremendous talent. But do you have some bulldog in you? Do you have that killer instinct in you? I haven't seen it. Okay? You've only won one playoff series, and it was against Portland. Don't think Damian Lillard didn't forget.
Oh, he reminded what he did to Paul George and Beverly. So, enough said with that. I mean,
but I do think the best series in the first round will be Utah and Denver. I think that'll be the best series in the first round in the Western Conference. The only reason why I won't say it's the Rockets.
The Dallas series will be any good?
Well, Luka Doncic in the playoffs is a win-win for me because that young man
with that too. The Joker in the playoffs. Wait. The Joker plays with Denver, correct?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
But Luka is a walking triple-double. That's good for me.
I mean, I can't even get the words out how to even speak on this young man. But I would say, okay. let's change gears. Let's talk about my number one team in the NBA, next to the Warriors. We're going up against our kryptonite.
Oh, the old rival from the 80s and the 70s and the 60s. Oh, yes.
And,
But at the same time, it doesn't get more traditional when it comes to Eastern Conference playoffs than Boston and Philadelphia. It just feels right.
man, it's. I didn't want them, but the real historian with me with the Sixers, you want the fucking Celtics. That's
Oh, yes.
you
yes.
want the fucking
yes.
Celtics.
Yes.
Want to take them out the playoffs, but we lost a big piece to our team, and it's Ben Simmons. And
Correct.
a lot of people will be like, "What do you mean? He blah 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 blah." Ben Simmons has the ball in his hands about 90% of the time when we're running our offense or whatever we're doing. He's a big factor. Just like you just said, Luka's a walking triple-double. Ben Simmons is a walking triple-double. He defends. He may not shoot the three like everybody wants, but he's attacking the basket.
Well, see, here's the thing. If he doesn't need to be a shooter, don't want to be a shooter. Let him do what he does best.
And it seems like media has forced him to start shooting three-pointers when I'm like, he's fine. If you can't stop me getting to the basket, why should I shoot a three-pointer? If you're still giving me this much space and I'm still getting to the basket, I'm not shooting a three-pointer. I am damn near in every guard that you're putting on me, even if you put your best two guard, who is probably right there with me, I'm still abusing him. I have not seen, when he goes down low, anybody besides Al Horford. I'm glad Al Horford is on our side now. But, excuse me, Al Horford gave him problems in that playoff series that we had against him. I want to say last year was when we went before we won that series because we went to Toronto. Or am I thinking I may be off, but Al Horford gave Ben Simmons the problem because he was physical down there with him down low. Nobody else has been too much physical down with him down there. He's been getting his way. Even Jaylen Brown was giving him problems. I'm not looking forward to this. I need Horford to step up. Embiid has to be huge. And Tobias Harris just has to hit that critical shot when he's called upon. I don't need him to be out there. I don't need Tobias to score 30 points. I just need him to get his 20, 25, but hit that shot when it's needed.
But if he gets you 30, you're going to take it.
Oh, well, I'm all day. I need Richardson to be huge.
Now, would you say he's the X factor for Philadelphia in this series?
Oh, yes, because he has kept us in a lot of stuff. He has carried the weight, with a lot of the 3-point shots, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. And I may be a little hasty with what I'm about to say, but I do believe our bench is a tad bit better than Boston. By a smidge, not a lot.
Well, I Philadelphia does have in the series is the fact that Boston is not as lengthy as they have been in years past. I don't care what anybody says. Them losing Aaron Baines to the Phoenix Suns hurt them. No disrespect to Theis. Theis is a nice, solid guy, but Theis is not Aaron Baines. And I think Philadelphia has to take advantage of their length with Horford and with Embiid because again, Boston Boston's problem has been against teams with length,
Yeah.
which is why I think that's the one thing that would prevent Boston from getting to the finals is their length. Because I mean, you have Toronto that has length with Ibaka, Siakam, and Gasol. Of course, Milwaukee with Giannis, the Lopez's, and Middleton. That length, that wingspan can be a huge issue if Boston advances. Which is why I'm saying Philly needs to take advantage of the length and using Embiid and Horford and Embiid. Okay, I don't need you shooting threes. Get in the elbow, get in the block, get in the low post, and use your height. When you have done that, nobody can guard you. And you can easily get 28 and 15 just doing off that. I mean, hell, Kevin McHale made a Hall of Fame career out of doing that, and you know what Charles Barkley has said about Kevin McHale about him being one of the greatest low post players he's ever played against. That's what I need if I am Joel Embiid, because again, that your shooters like Mike Scott, like Tobias Harris, like Richardson, they're going to be open in the wing because they're all worried about you in the low post. Guess what? It's going to space the floor, and your shooters are going to be wide open. And then that's when you can do major damage.
That's what scares me about Embiid. An amazing talent, but he wants to be an all-around talent, and I wish he would get out the social media thing and just play basketball. Just you are an astounding player. I believe you are on the borderline of being Shaq-like. He won't be Shaq because Shaq was totally different. But Embiid can hit free throws and Shaq can't. But what I mean by Shaq-like, when the ball got down low to Shaq, you knew two things were going to happen. He was going to abuse you and posterize you, or you were going to hack him and put him on the free throw line.
Hello, Chris Dudley.
You didn't see Shaq up at the top trying to shoot 3-pointers. No. Give me the ball down low. Embiid does have those Shaq feelings, along with his game reminds me of Olajuwon. I know that he's been working with Olajuwon, but Olajuwon was down there putting in work. The dream shake. I mean, you knew when the ball went down low to Olajuwon, production was going to happen.
Some of the greatest footwork ever by a center.
Embiid has that. I'm not trying to be a homer right now, bro. I know that we're sitting here discussing all this, but this is no homer stuff. I'm looking at Embiid and I see similarities to Olajuwon. Like you said, the footwork, he can move, he rebounds, he defends well. It's just that when he starts jacking up jump shots and 3-pointers, where he should be, like you said, down low, putting in the work, getting the fouls. You can shoot free throws. I wish that I could have some of the talent that no, I'll take that back. I had some of the talent these big guys had, but I was just small. I wish I had their height. Some of these fellas don't use their height. They all want to be jump shot shooters. We want to be 3-point shooters. Anthony Davis can be one of the dominant players in NBA if he's strictly focused on being down low. He has
I agree.
He has the footwork.
I agree.
I mean, Giannis is doing it right. That's the only one that's with his height and his ability that's doing it right. You really don't see Giannis shooting threes. I mean, yes, he has jacked up a few, but where does Giannis get most of his work? Down low.
In the post.
He
In the
knows
post.
he knows where the bread is buttered. I'm not Steph Curry. I'm not Klay Thompson or KD. Now that's who can do it. KD is about the only player that can work in and out. He can work, but he's not a 7 foot. I mean, wingspan. He's 7 foot and he's a beast. But he's not an actual 7 footer that should be down there banging. KD plays how a big man plays that can shoot, if that makes sense. Because KD defends, he rebounds, he gets down low, but he's not a 7 footer.
Well, he's just a more athletic version of Larry Joe Bird. That's one way
Talk about Larry Bird.
you can put it.
Let's not talk about Larry Bird.
One of the greatest basketball IQs I've ever seen. Now, let me ask you this question. Considering that this is a bubble, and really, in this particular playoff mode, there really is no such thing as home court advantage, because as we know from playoff pasts,
Right.
normally the role players have thrived in the playoffs underneath with the home crowd motivation. Now, seeing that that's not going to happen, for the role players, how do you think that will affect them directly? Because really, there is no. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a designated home and road team, but it's really, it's in a sense a road game because again, there won't be no fans. I mean, you'll have virtual fans, but I mean, there really is no feel for home court advantage. Meaning, when it's, when you're going to Madison Square Garden, you're going to hear the passion. Or if you go to Oracle, you're going to hear the passion. Or you go to Indiana, you're going to hear the passion. Stuff like that. How will that affect the guys during this playoff series?
I won't say too much because if you know your role and you're a professional and you're locked in, you know right now this is where you play to get. It's not your ultimate goal, but you got there. But no matter what, fans, no fans, just go out there and play basketball. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be fine. They will. It will be a little difference because some players do feed off the fans. They do. They get that. It's that adrenaline. When you hear the fans going crazy and they're cheering and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're playing to win the championship.
Agreed.
So that's where that is. But what I would like to say now, bro, we're going to have to get to our ending point because I do have to get some form of rest to be up these kids in the morning. So give your ending take to what your last point of what we need to talk about.
The rapid fire subject. Well,
yeah, that's where we have.
I already kind of mentioned it already, but I'll touch base on it again. Is again with Jurkic. Well, wait a minute. Where'd you go?
I'm still here.
What's going on here? No. Given with given with what happened to Yurkic, learning about that his grandmother passed away from COVID-19, and to still go out there and play with such a heavy heart is commendable. I commend him, I salute him, and I'm hoping people get to the realization that COVID-19 is real. It's not a hoax. I don't know why we're almost 6-7 months in with this whole pandemic thing, and people are still not taking it seriously. Does it have to happen to you directly? Does it have to happen to one of your loved ones directly in order for you to get it that it's real? Okay? It's real. Please stop being hard-headed. Please stop thinking you know better. Just do what you're supposed to do. Follow protocol so we can have a little sense of normalcy. Yes. Because you and I both said 2020, this was supposed to be the year that we was giving our money to the movies like a donation. And the pandemic ruined it. But again, to Yurkic, my prayers are with you. Again, to play well like he did with the passing of his grandmother is kudos to you, because it takes a heck of a man to do that.
Amen. All right, good one. Mine, I'm going to just stick to what we've been talking about just to see how interesting these playoffs is going to be, how this bubble, how you spoke on about how there's no home court advantage. Everybody is in their one situational spot. This is the playoff bubble, I guess we will call it. Just to see how they handle this and everything. And to see, I'm really interested. We tapped on this. Just Dame, just how he's going to handle this whole 1-8 thing, how he had to fight to get into this A spot and this big chip on his shoulder, how feels like he's been disrespected. So just that. And also to piggyback on your COVID talk is how people are not taking this serious it's crazy. How people are dying and you just don't. Everybody think this is a government cover-up. I mean, yeah, government cover-ups does happen with casualties of death, but these are just too many deaths happening. You just can't cover up this many. So, with that said, let's check out this playoffs. We got playoff basketball tomorrow. We will be doing a playoff edition of the NBA, probably a little later on, and there's a little thunder in the background. I don't know if anybody heard that.
It.
Oh, okay.
I certainly did.
You can't hear it. Okay, so that means everybody else
can
hear it. So this was just a little pre-warm up to how we get serious. So appreciate anybody that tunes in and watches it. It's a little longer than what we expected to do tonight, but when you get to talking good subjects and have good conversation with your brother, you tend to run a little longer.
This is what happens.
Yes. So my brother, I appreciate another good conversation. And the opening act, I think people are going to love that because that was I did not expect that coming. That's a good one. I love the spontaneous. This is what we do around here. We do spontaneous things. So please forgive the rambling tonight. This is just a pre-show because we've taken a minor break. But this has been the Mizzle Dub Show. I am Mizzle, and that's Dub. We'll see you on the next one. All right, Canada.
Good morning. And let's get to the chopper.
Now.
Now.
All right, bro.
All right.